Hello everyone and welcome to this video where we're actually going to talk about a new subject which we've not talked about before, and it's related to creations that I've inspired. So follow along as I show some of this and let's get going. But before we begin, I do want to sort of talk about my lineup of these sort of light pickup trucks. Now, I'm pretty proud of them. Obviously, I like trucks. Being here in Canada, it's a very big important industry, especially here in farm and industry country. So I've created some new vehicles here that I do want to proudly show, such as the step-side pickup truck that you see here. Now, they've stopped making those back in the mid-2000s with that generation, but this one is sort of adapted to look like a modern vehicle. We have our long bed pickup truck. Here we have kind of an SUV slash pickup truck based on an Avalanche, obviously, with the back there. Now these guys here have been released. The Tahoe version, which is the Prairie, the Rodeo, the Badlands, the Dually, and the special version, which is the X99. So these first three have not been released yet, but you will see them start to hit the workshop either in OMUA or Alta version or the civilian supercharged versions. So let's hop into the step-side truck now and drive on down to the docks where we can begin. One thing I want to say is that the creations that were created by these users that inspired, first of all, I think that's super cool. Super cool that I've had the ability and that I've inspired other users to make other things. So that's really fulfilling and awesome to me. And secondly, a lot of that's done through my Discord server, so make sure you join that. And what I will be adding on the Discord server shortly here are actually rules and steps to using my creations. So for example, pure recolors, I'm not a big fan of because some of these creations have taken me super long to make. So you've just gone ahead and recolored it and uploaded it. So that's not really what I'm all about. But then there's creations where there's actually lots of thought process put into it, or maybe it's just using one of like a truck, but then adding it to like a massive ship that you make or something. So if it's a smaller one of my creations, I do generally agree, but please make sure you ask on the Discord server. And then there's a different type of addition or creation that can work, and that's when I inspire creation. So for example, if someone made their own version of a buckle vehicle, or if someone took an OMUA, made a ship and gave it the OMUA designation, or a pipeline or some type of industrial thing and gave it an Alta designation. So make sure you read the rules and regulations that I'm adding to my Discord server now. But as always, it's honestly an honor to have people be inspired by what I've done here. So keep it up, keep sending me that. I think it's super, super cool. The first one I want to talk about is user WhiteEU's Eldar Scanner system. So he actually took the laser scanning system that I've showed in one of my earlier videos that was actually inspired by Quentin's Eldar camera or LiDAR camera, but WhiteEU took it and changed the whole thing. So if you see here, this Eldar scanner, it has a field of view, it has sensitivity, and if we enter inside, the microcontroller is entirely different. The Luau script is incredibly detailed, and actually the way that this was created was user WhiteEU came to me and said he was curious and interested in adding or taking a look at the existing system that I created, and with that he started to take a look at what I've done, and soon enough, having programming experience, he created a system that is entirely different than what I've done. So here you could see the interface, and we're just going to go to the shipwreck here. But in essence, he wanted to work with me to sort of beef up my microcontroller and have it something that I could potentially put on all of my vessels. And I mean, this type of collaboration is something that's new to me. I tend to try to do all my creations by myself. Obviously, I do get inspiration from others, and I do borrow microcontrollers from others and put credit, but I've never had something being custom built for my application, and something not only that's custom built, but something that's very much a better version of my creation. So that's something I do want to mention in this video, is that I never claim that I'm making the best creation. I don't intend to. I don't. But the way I do things, like I've explained before, is optimization, functionality or usefulness, and then form, like that it looks nice and performs properly, but maybe it's not uber realistic or something exactly that you intend to see in real life, but close enough, right? So with that in mind, user WhiteEU decided to revamp my microcontroller and actually worked with me to make the best version of this controller, something that we'd be able to use. So he almost took like a custom request where I told him some of the specifications and things I wanted to be added to this microcontroller, and then he went ahead and did it. And it's getting close to its final form. If we do create a second version, or a version 2, I will make another video to explain just how far it's gotten. But here I'm very excited to show what it can do. WhiteEU's done an incredible job with this. It doesn't glitch, it doesn't do weird stuff like mine did, and truthfully, it's a system that I'd be proud to implement in all of my OMUA vessels, because this is exactly what OMUA's all about, the underwater scanning and research and all that good stuff. So as we approach the target here, I'll flip this on. Now, just like mine, it does have the in-motion scanning, but take a look at that. Take a look at that. It has the dots, it has this thing, and now we're getting some scan data as the ship. So clearly it's beneath us, but at an angle, exactly like what the camera showed. And watch this, watch lasers go. So it uses a 2-laser system that actually sweeps, and obviously I'm showing them here. I will make them infrared so they're not visible, but take a look at that. Now, one of the things that WhiteEU is working on is to sort of make them, or make the pixels fully aligned. You can see there's a bit of a gap or kind of pixel delay just because we have our 2 lasers coming in from different sides. But that said, it still does create us a fairly detailed image of whatever is beneath us, and it works much faster. Like now we're going at a very slow pace, but technically with 2 lasers we can actually be doing a much faster speed and end up getting really good data of what's beneath us. So here we have it, but that's only one of the things. The thing that I can't believe, I mean it looks so cool and it works so well, is the second thing, which is the stopped scanning, or the full scan. So if we just park ourselves right over top of the ship here, this is gonna be really cool and worth it. So let's make sure we're stopped here. Now take a look at fast. So very similar to what mine did, except comes from both sides. So you can see the lasers, how they sweep the ground. But take a look at full. So it does take a little bit of time. It has the scanning percentage, and there they are dancing around. So you can see exactly how they work. They come from opposite sides and sort of move in quite slowly here, but take a look at the good scan. And just wait until we're done, because when it's finished, there's a cool feature that WhiteEU decided to add that blew my mind. It's something that I didn't even think of, but here we have it. So very good scan. You could see the hold right in the middle here if we just take a look underwater what it looks like. So clearly it scanned the funnel hole and it scanned that kind of knockdown pipe, but the magnitude is what's really cool. So here you see the knockdown mast, not pipe, the mast. One of them is the holes from the funnel and the other one is kind of like a hold, but check this out. So you can actually change the magnitude to isolate different objects, because here you could tell that there's something right off to the side, which is in fact our funnel, or yeah, the funnel, but you can't tell what it is. It looks like a couple dots. So by changing the magnitude, you can actually end up scanning and getting a good feel for what is on the seafloor. Just like when you take it down all the way, You see that there's some dots in there, but if you move this up, maybe you don't need to see that, but now you can see the mast. So the magnitude is a super cool thing. It works on both the fast and full scan. Obviously the full scan is intended to be as fast as possible, but here, even now, it could tell you that you're over the subject. The fast one's only intended to tell you you're over the subject and not really give you the full image. So there we have it. And to show you how it works when you're driving fast, if we're making our way here, you can see the seafloor kind of changes around here. And back up here, with our scanner, it actually tells us where it is. And if you take a look, we're moving at 20 knots, so we're not really going slow, but it's mapping some of our seafloor. And then, of course, if you're looking for treasures or something, it'll tell you where they are. Now, if we try it at full speed, it still should work. It's just going to have a bit more gaps in the data. And like I said, one of the next versions or revisions of this video is to have it where all the pixels are aligned, but form over function, and also see if we're bouncing up and down. I may put it here down for stability. It should probably have less bouncing. Oh, we're about to come across a really big ridge here. So anyway, this feature, the Eldar Scanner, that was inspired by my creation, which is actually inspired by Quinton's LiDAR camera. Super cool, super useful, and I intend on actually using it for all of my vessels. I will work with WhiteEU to sort of maximize its power and capability, and once that's done, this is going to be a very useful tool for all kinds of treasure hunting. So thank you so much for making this. It's a world of difference from what I did. I mean, look at the screen. It's not glitching as you're doing this. Like, when mine was changing all the colors, if you remember, this just looks so clean and professional. And take a look at that. So now we're sitting on a slope right beneath us, and that's exactly what it got scanned, that one slope. So anyway, super cool camera, super useful feature for this game and for what I have in mind for OMUA. Thank you again, WhiteEU, for this, and on to the next. Next, we have user ProKiller57681. His generators. They're called Pro Generators, I'm guessing because of his name's ProKiller, and they're based loosely but inspired by my rat generators that you see right behind here. So on my Discord server, ProKiller reached out and he said that, you know, my generators here have inspired him to try to create something kind of using that style. Obviously, try to make it better. And that's exactly what he did. So you could see here the design definitely looks more thought out than mine. Mine are a little simplistic, but while I never claim to make the best version of any creation, I never claim that, I will say that there's a reason for my creations being the way they are. Namely, my creations are intended for, this one specifically, these guys are intended to be added to other creations, so they're quite optimized. You know, they use medium engines instead of modular and have a fairly simple interface, but these ones are using modular engines, and truthfully, I think he was saying that they're twice as powerful or more capacity to produce electricity, so that's incredible. Really cool logo. As you can see here, mine are inverse. We have the biggest one here, medium, small. His are the biggest container one, which I'll get to in a second. So here's the biggest, medium, and small. Now, I will be making my own version of this. This was something that was discussed in my Discord, and then he went ahead and created it. But what I'm going to do is actually make a version that is the specific or specified ISO standard container that has fuel built in, and that's kind of what this does. So he went ahead and did that before me. Amazing. I'm all for it. I think that's super cool in the community. And we have these generators. So here is the so-called smallest one, and if we fire it up, you can see that it's starting up, and there we go. We got power. It's ramping up. The exhaust coming out. Really cool looking generators. I do love the exhaust, like all the attachments on the side. They look really cool. Over here, there's a small one that's based loosely on my kind of hand crank rat generator, but this one is just on a button. And then there's the trailer. Now mine, for some reason, the handbrake is not working. but this is the pro version of that. Looks really cool and rugged. Obviously a bigger fuel tank than mine, and all this information. Oh, that's the watt power. Really cool. Right on. So, Pro Killer did a great job with these. He did tell me that these aren't the final version. I'm sure the final version will hit the workshop and be downloadable for you guys. Now again, I'm not promoting anyone's creations, but I just want to, so please don't ask in my Discord, you know, can you please promote my creation? No, I just found it really awesome that my generators had inspired him to sort of go ahead and build his own version. And that to me is really cool, that other users can kind of bring inspiration and make some awesome things. So great job, Pro Killer, on this. Thank you for sharing, and I look forward to the other things. He did note that he's making his own version, an off-road truck version of this, that has one of his generators on the back. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure it's going to hit the workshop and be really cool for you guys to download and use. So next to talk about here is the Alta Trailers made by Sheppy05. Now Sheppy helps run my Discord server, so thank you for your service and for all the help. And what he's done is he's taken a liking to the Alta brand. So unlike the previous one where I showed you the Pro generators, where I've kind of inspired some cool generators under a different nameplate, here I've inspired Sheppy to actually use Alta as the basis of his creations and sort of use the color scheme to develop creations that Alta would seem to use. Now obviously these are unofficial Alta creations, meaning that they're done with my approval, but not necessarily my support or participation in the project. So maybe they're not identical to how I would have labeled things or done it, and in some cases I may go ahead and make my own version, but I still do have to appreciate Sheppy's use of the colors and the branding. Now I noticed he didn't really put the Alta nameplate on the side. I think this is something he is working on. But what I will do is in my server, my Discord server, I'm going to have a section for the Creators Corner where I'm actually going to have the color schemes and logos and different sizes for you to download and put on your creations that you want to use the Alta or OMUA or Buckle nameplates. So we're going to actually have that. But I love the use of even my license plate, which, fun fact, is license plate of my first car. And even the, color scheme, the general style, this fits right in with my creations. So if we take a look at this, it's a cool little light rack. We turn on the lights, and there's also a camera. And the camera even moves up and down, so he's using the new cool sort of pivots that the camera has. And obviously you could even extend it more. And it has a generator. So it's a generator and light rack. And good for watching kind of progress on site if you have some type of creations. And I think that you could even have it kind of, you could make the video put on another display. So I think he's working on another creation where it's a trailer or a truck or a van that you plug this in, or you could even wirelessly watch this video on a bigger screen. So it lets you monitor work from the safety or warmth of a van. So really cool creation here. Love how it works. I mean, I don't know how much different or better I could even make this. It does the job, and great work here. This one is a fluid transfer trailer, so it's for pumping in and out. And you have all sorts of different lines that you move. So I'm guessing there is no tanks inside here, but it's kind of like a hydrovac system where if you plug it in here, this is your pump that then pushes the fluid through. And then this last one is a trailer that actually has a massive tank that you could fill up using all these connectors. And then there's a winch back here that you could actually put onto something and have it be pumping from a far distance. Now he's actually done and used the same style of connectors that my trucks have. So any of the trailer or truck hitch creations that I have, or sorry, truck creations that have a trailer hitch, not the gooseneck, but the regular trailer towing hitch, these ones are compatible with. So make sure you check them out in your workshop. Really cool creations. And like I said before, and I'll probably repeat a million times again, join my Discord where you could actually get information on how to use my branding and what's kind of allowed and what's not allowed in creations for that. So really good work by Sheppy05 here. Love how it looks, and thank you again for helping with the Discord, Sheppy. The next creation that I've sort of inspired is by Lord Bison, and it's a high volume fluid transfer test. So actually Lord Bison discussed this on my Discord, and he told us that he was going to be making a high volume system that transfers much faster than the hoses on the side of these things, and that's where this creation comes from. Now all it is a test and a proof of concept, but I'm going to show you how it works. So he added this bottom connector, and obviously this is sort of giving ideas to us and other users of the capabilities of this system, which I find super cool. So there's a hatch down there and a hatch here, and this is a massive reservoir on the bottom. This one here is the capacity, so it holds 60,000 liters, and our trailer contains I think 62,000 liters. I cleared out the walls, so it's just one massive diesel tank. Now if we lift this up and turn on the magnet, you can see that it's clamped on, so that's the green light. And then if we climb up these ladders, there's a button that was added. I mean, whether or not this is how I'd make the final creation, that's something else, but clearly this is a proof of concept. So here it says open volume hatch, so now it's open on the trailer, and then if we press this button, you can see the fluid start to transfer over. Now this is just kind of a glitch of the game visuals, because there is fluid moving from one container to the other, and it's not limited by the walls there. It's not actually leaking out. We have a full seal there. So what's happening is we're filling. Now I told you there's 32,000 liters in here, and we're like about 32,000, not exactly, but we're almost there. There we go. So the full trailer now transferred over in a matter of seconds, maybe like 10 seconds or something, out of that container. So that's way faster than if we were using the hose. That's right there for out. Clearly, really well done system, really good idea. And Lord Bison was discussing on the Discord kind of the potential of this system, and honestly, this is something I could see us using. Like, for example, if we had a drive on cargo ship that you could drive the trailer right on and connect it, it would be really good. Or even a crane system that lifts up these trailers as they are, places them over top of the deck of a ship and drops it in. Or if we use a ship loader, there's so many possibilities. I love thinking about the ideas of what this system could do, but like just the fast it transferred over, incredible. Really, really cool. So great work, Lord Bison. Love the idea. This is a really cool idea as well by user Zebru10, ZBRUH, Zebra10. So Zebra10 made this cool trailer and using my buckle truck. So this front cab semi-truck is one of my buckle Stampede semi-trucks, and then the trailer in the back is fully his, but this is the color scheme that come off my police cars. So these guys here I've made, those are my creations, and then here we have it with the same badge, the same font for the police. So he took the design of my trucks and creations and then my cab and kind of made it his own. Now I love this creation. To me this reminds me of the Lego set that actually has these, like the semi-truck with a command center in the back. And even this trailer uses some features of my camper trailers, the Air Gull Penguin camper trailers. So that, like the raised legs and stuff, this is off some of my things. But what you do is you hop in here and there's doors on both sides, and there's a ton of equipment here, kind of like a preparation area, a heater. Over here there's a jail cell with a nice little detailed sink and some prison uniforms, monitors if you want to display the outside, and that kind of pops up on the out exterior there on this arm and swings around, so you could actually watch that, as well as this comes from my vehicles directly, and there's the police lights. So really cool little creation that was inspired by mine. So Zebra 10, well done. Thank you for using these creations and making kind of your own really cool thing here. Now the last creation I'm going to showcase here is created by user Angry, and it's a Burrito diving research vessel that also comes with this kind of living quarters or living module that you place underwater. So what you'd do is you'd use the massive gantry crane on the back to lift this up and place it down underneath like a habitat that you could then use and live in. So if we actually enter into it, presumably from the top, not from the bottom, and I'm guessing this bottom part is actually, yeah, you get in once the container is in the water or underwater, so you can't get in now, but we can just use no clipping to make ourselves inside it. Turn on the heater, turn on the lights. So what we have here is magall connectors, fill ballast. Here's the door to the exterior. Now it actually uses similar system to my little OMUA containers, especially with this, but here you sit and here's where you fill and drain the airlock. Presumably beneath us is a chamber, yeah, with all the pumps. So that's where, very similar system to my diving bell. So I think that may have inspired this user. And then you can see a camera here, temperature probe, and then there's a bedroom, which is actually really cool. You could kind of have a nice little living quarters here. So, well done. And it is cool to see my creation sort of inspire projects like this where you can now use and add whole new aspects to the game. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that Angry did ask for permission, and then here also is one of my little helicopters. So a support helicopter in the front. So anyway, user Angry did ask for my permission to use this ship, and I'm not sure how much is different inside. It's probably quite similar to what I've left, but I gave him permission. Now, the thing is that I want to mention is that this vessel is pretty outdated. This is based on the RSV Almeria. It's pretty outdated, so I have no problem with him using it at this time, but I will be retrofitting her as well as some of my other ships, and at that point, to use my bigger ship creations will actually be sort of limiting. I'm gonna not quite allow such free use of my massive creations because sometimes this stuff takes like 3 months to 6 months to create. Obviously not full time, I have another job, but it takes long enough that, you know, for someone to just take it and use it, you know, not my favorite thing. But in this case, it's an outdated creation. He had my approval, so awesome, great work. Love the habitat, love how it works with the pumps and stuff. And yeah, keep up the good work. I do like the recolor. I mean, for your branding, your Burrito diving brand, this does look really cool. So this is created by user Angry, of course, like I said, with my permission. And yeah, that's all the creations that we have here. Now I could go on for days because clearly I've inspired a good amount of creations, and again, that's so cool and inspiring to me to know that some of my creations have kind of led to the creativity and creative thinking of other people. But at the same time, that's also why I have to be careful with granting access for everything, because my creations do take a while to do, and sometimes I don't want just... It's not an easy way out. I do inspire creativity, and I'll always say users are free to make whatever they want in their own workshops. They could take my ships and color them whatever they want, as long as it's not uploaded, because that's where it becomes different. Once you upload something else that I've created without permission or without my approval or blessing or something that I don't really agree with, that's when things sort of get dicey. So please refer to my Discord rules for that type of thing. But honestly, just seeing the type of stuff that we can do and the type of stuff that we have done really does showcase just how cool the community is and how much it's growing and building. Now, on a last side note, I do want to show you guys this. So this is my original creation, the GTC Snowslide. Obviously, it's based on the Chevy Avalanche, if you know the North American spec vehicles. So here there's a truck bed and kind of these little covers. And this was created over 2 years ago. Now it kind of holds up, but it's manual, and you know the engine controller is not the best, and it uses a small engine. And then here is my new version, the Hoodoo, the Buckle Hoodoo, that will hit the workshop eventually. But like, I mean, I just want to show how cool I think this is. I mean, just how everyone grows and develops and builds. When I built the GTC version, I thought that it was like golden. Like, I was super happy with how it looked and worked. But then as I got better and more skilled, I started to, you know, define body lines and do all sorts of stuff. Now, I do like the front kind of grill guard here, so I might do something similar with that one. But just the overall shape, to me at least, looks like a Grand Theft Auto San Andreas versus Grand Theft Auto 4 or 5, whatever, creation, with like the amount of detail. And then not to mention the interior, just like the tow truck I showed. I mean, here you have the nice display and panel with all this stuff, whereas over in this one, it's a very simplistic. At the time I was very proud of it, of course, but like simplistic and not my favorite now that I know all my other kind of skills that I've made use here. So expect these things to the workshop. Thank you all for watching this video, of course. Thank you to the users, the ones I've listed in this video and the ones I haven't, that have been inspired by my creations and that post and comment about what I've created. I love it. I love reading and hearing about it. So please feel free to join my Discord server and talk more about it. It's always appreciated. And yeah, as always, happy Stormworksing. Enjoy your time, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video.